What is going on, guys? This is the first ever The Weather Show. We're going to do these every Saturday at 11 o'clock to 11:30, and this is going to be an interactive look at weather. So I need your help for everyone that subscribed or liked or comes across this channel to post in the comment section where you're watching from and what you want to talk about. This is going to be kind of a look back at what the week was, looking ahead to what the weather is going to bring, of course, because that's all about the weather. It's the future. So we are going to be talking, of course, what is yet to come and some of the long range outlooks. And of course, whatever you want to talk about. It's good to see you guys. It's been a while. I apologize for my voice. I barely have one. I won't be able to stay on here too long because of that. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk about what the weather was yesterday and what we're talking about going forward here, as the weather has been nuts. Of course, another big severe weather outbreak. So if I can ever make one of these, I'm going to update you in the comments. If I have to change the time, I'll update you in the community section. So subscribe if you want to stay updated to that. If you love talking about the weather, tracking the weather, we would love to have you on board. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and we would love to have you. All right, so here's the deal. Good morning. We're going until 11:30. Again, we're making this a weekly show starting at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Pacific. Got every time zone in there. We'll look ahead to hurricane season and all that other stuff as well. So thank you so much for hopping on here. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegges, by the way. If you have never come across us before, welcome to the channel. Again, I apologize for my voice. It's one of the reasons why I could not live stream yesterday's outbreak, March 31st outbreak, because I had no voice, and it's probably going to go out again. But just wanted to say hey to everybody out there and talk about the weather that is to come. So we still have severe weather remaining, and we're starting things off with the outlook for today. Slight risk for a lot of Pennsylvania into New York City, into Connecticut, west of Boston. That includes Syracuse as well. I'm hopping all over the Northeast. We actually have a couple of active severe thunderstorm warnings at this hour in parts of Michigan, south of Detroit metro area. That includes Toledo and into Mansfield as well. So we're going to be watching that. That is risk area 1. And I did forget to mention that what we're going to talk about in this video, and it's going to be the continuation of the severe weather risk from yesterday. That was a multi-day risk. And then we are going to talk about next week, because there's another shot for a really big outbreak of severe thunderstorms, unfortunately, in the same areas, and I will show you that if you stick around. And another big high-impact blizzard in the plains. So just some crazy stuff. Welcome to everybody who is joining the stream. Before we go any further, I do want to show you here the storm reports from yesterday. And all of those red dots on that map that you are looking at are tornado reports. So there was a lot of them, 50 or 65, I should say, to be exact. Some were even just added over the past few minutes. I zoomed in so you can kind of see what's going on there. But notice 65, or see, there's 57. So trying to update. So there we go. 65 reports. Those were the filtered versus unfiltered. I think I just ran over that thing. But anyway, the big tornadoes from Little Rock into the Memphis area are, of course, on there. And then there were a lot of big tornadoes in Illinois, in southeast Iowa. And again, these are going to be the same areas that are unfortunately going to be under the gun for more severe weather as we move into next week. So we're going to get all into that as well. Hey there, my friend, Big John Tech Review. Welcome. Good to see you again. It's been a while. SFJ Squad, good to see you too. That tornado in Little Rock was insane, labeled a mass casualty event. There were a lot of injuries. I mean, that was through a very populated area. So we are, of course, thinking about everybody that was impacted by not just that tornado, but, I mean, there's been a lot of them, a lot of big ones over the past couple of weeks, unfortunately. And again, that really, really big one. And, of course, we have to wait till the Weather Service gets out there and actually investigates the damage. That's when the ratings will come through. I know a lot of people love to rate those storms before the weather service gets out there. You can speculate, but it really doesn't matter. It's impacted the lives of a lot of people. So leave that up to the experts at the weather service, um, as well. Hey, missed you as well. Thanks for hopping back on the live stream. I apologize, guys, for my voice. It is going. I just wanted to hop on here again to talk about the rest of this severe weather outbreak. Certainly a lower grade shot today, but it is going to be there. You're going to be under that risk for severe weather in Northeast Pennsylvania. You see the yellow there. You're at a level 2 out of 5. Remember, yesterday we had the dueling high risks, one in the Midwest and one in the Deep South from the Storm Prediction Center, that 5 out of 5 level. That slight, as it's called, that is where we have that level 2 out of 5. So again, that threat is not 0, and I think we have a shot for that to be upgraded a little bit in the south. And I will show you some high resolution modeling as we continue here. As we continue, and this is what I kind of want to show you. I'm gonna bust out the telestrator, and on the tailing end here of these storms, I don't like that we have supercellular structures here by themselves. So really, like South Georgia, extreme South Mississippi, South Alabama, and then extreme North Florida panhandle. We're going to really have to watch out for that threat for a few of these supercell thunderstorms to develop and potentially produce tornadoes. Again, the atmosphere is not going to be as ripe as what we had yesterday. So I want you to be clear about that. But I do think there is an opportunity here for a few of these storms to get a little rowdy, closer to the Florida Panhandle, again, extreme South Georgia, northern Mississippi, northern Florida, southern Mississippi, and extreme southern Alabama, maybe even into the extreme tip right around New Orleans of Louisiana. So just keep that in mind today. If you are living there or traveling there or what have you, just keep that in mind as that severe weather threat is rolling. I want to quickly show you next week. This looks a lot like this is what's going on right now. Again, that's the model forecast, but I want to show you going out in time. We're going to go warp speed. It looks very similar to what we just went through across parts of the Deep South and across parts of the Midwest. There's subtle differences, but we're talking about a really big storm. Now, this is going to be Tuesday evening. So this thing really ramps up again in a couple of days. So there's not much heads up. There's been a lot of focus on this first round of severe weather, and rightfully so. Of course, it was awful yesterday. A lot of big tornadoes, but we can have another shot of that just quickly right on the heels. And another big blizzard. You see a 976 millibar low pressure. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. So that is a fairly significant storm, number one. Number two, I want you to note that these black lines here, isobars, lines of equal pressure, whenever those lines are tightly packed together, that is when the wind really, really cranks up. We have this big chunk of high pressure hanging out over right around the Hudson Bay, this banana high, as we call it, because it kind of looks like a banana. So we've got cold air coming that way. We've got cold air coming that way. And huge blizzard potential. So if you love the snow, this late season push of winter, and of course, if you lived in the Midwest, in the plains, you know this is not uncommon by any means to get blizzards still in April as we try to transition into spring. But this could be a fairly significant blizzard from South Dakota, the Panhandle of Nebraska, and then northern Minnesota. I have a lot of lines on there if you're watching on the telestration, but again, this is next Tuesday. It looks a lot like what we just went through, but it's a different storm. So then on the warm side of this, in almost the same areas, and I will show you the updated risk from the Storm Prediction Center. It's crazy. It's pretty much the same areas, but we're looking right in here. That is a very wide telestration. We're looking in the same kind of area as what we just went through. So I'm pulling up the risk area again to show you And then there we go. And those little blue, those are the storm reports that from the last few hours. Those are just wind. I'll show you the wind in a second. But as I lose my voice, and again, I apologize for the way that I sound right now. This is the reason why I was not able to stream live during the severe weather yesterday. I wanted to be out there talking about the weather and tracking the weather alongside you, but my voice would not allow, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't giving, that I came across clear on the information that I was giving, because again, a lot of people were in, unfortunately, life-threatening situations yesterday. Hey, Annie, good to see you in McKinney. It is going to be windy there for you today. So hold on to your hat. Welcome to the live stream. And if this is your guys' first time finding the channel, finding the live stream, welcome. I don't always sound like this. I know it's probably really, really annoying, but I was getting over a cold and lost my voice yesterday, and in the process of losing it again. The point I'm trying to make here, again, if you are watching this and just finding this here, rightfully so, a lot of publicity on last event. The one that just happened over the past couple of days. But like right on the heels of that one, we are talking about another potential high impact. So this 30%, what do you see here? This, let me pull out my telestrator again. Let me change the thickness because it went crazy on me. It's decently rare, as I like to say, for the Storm Prediction Center to designate anything for a severe weather risk beyond the 3 days. Those are your typical day 1, day 2, day 3 outlooks. They do have a day 4 through 8 outlook. And whenever they outlook any percentage, it piques your interest. It grabs your attention, okay? But whenever they have this secondary one, this higher end, this big orange color right in the center of your screen, that's a 30% shot for severe weather. That's 5 days out. Again, this is for Tuesday. So it's something that you really need to pay attention to, because there is a great deal of confidence that we are going to have the opportunity, at least the correct environment for severe weather, unfortunately. And this is the worst thing that I want to say. It's over the same areas that unfortunately have been significantly impacted by severe weather over the last week or so. North of Jackson, Mississippi, into Little Rock, Central Illinois, near Peoria, Springfield, Southeast Iowa. Again, we are in those higher probabilities as well, just outside of Chicago, towards Indy. So again, that's something that we are really going to have to watch as we get into, really this weekend. And I know a lot of people are going to wind down this weekend, rightfully so. But if you're watching this and you know anybody that lives in this area, they may not be paying close attention because they were just nailed by severe weather yesterday. In some cases, strong tornadoes. And these poor people are going to be back under the gun again. So if you are watching, you know people living here, you live here yourself, again, just an early heads up here that we're going to come out of the weekend and there's already going to be another extremely significant storm rolling down the pipeline. So I want to show you, I want to take you upstairs now and show you this. This is our upper low. I always talk about, if you watch this channel, if you are just finding us for the first time, we would love to have you. If you love talking and tracking the weather, please consider subscribing, and certainly liking this would help us out a lot. But this big upper low, and it looks very, very similar to what we just dealt with. We had an upper low rolling out of the plains, closed off with that negative tilt, big jet energy riding through the plains. It's a very, very similar setup. Subtle differences. But that big chunk of upper low is going to just bowling ball through. That was the one that we just dealt with. So I wanted to show you that for the similarities, okay? And then look how it kind of ejects right on out. And then pivots. So this is something that we're really going to be fine-tuning the forecast and really watching this over the next few days. There is our low. and then very, very strong winds plowing right there. And then you saw where that outlook was. If you took a mental picture of where the Storm Prediction Center had their outlook, it was right in here. And that's where the winds are kind of pulled apart aloft. I always like to say, to kind of to kind of visualize how this pattern is going to unfold. It's almost like if you're in a pool or a bathtub and you are trying not to hit the mic so it doesn't sound weird. But if you're in a bathtub or in a pool and you pull your hands apart, you push the water away at the surface, but then it has to be replaced by the water from the bottom of the pool. So you have to replace that, and that's exactly what is happening in this situation. We're kind of pulling the wind apart, pulling the air apart at about 15 to 20,000 feet. You need to replace that air with air at the surface, and then you get rising motion. And that's exactly what we had yesterday. We were able to get forcing on those storms out ahead of the main cold front, and that's what was able to keep those storms isolated or discrete. So this is really one of the main setups that you would look for in a big outbreak, because a lot of times if it's along a cold front, all the storms will go up at once. They'll compete against all the ingredients, all the energy in the atmosphere, and then they'll kind of fizzle out altogether. Whenever you have something like this where you're pulling it apart, you get that prefrontal storm activity. That's when things can get real gnarly. You can get a couple of rounds of severe weather like yesterday. Little Rock was hit twice. I think it was under at least 2 tornado warnings, maybe even a third. So it was ugly, and we have the potential again for ugliness. And I want to show you this again if you are just joining. Already a day 5 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center in those areas that we were just talking about. So, and speaking of which, you see these little flashing areas there. These are severe thunderstorm warnings west of Cleveland, south of Detroit, including Toledo. So just turning the radar on for you there. Getting in the fresh high resolution data. So some nasty weather still ongoing. There as well. So our friend has brought up about hurricane season. We are going to talk a lot about hurricane season in future episodes. Again, if you're just joining us, if you're just finding us for the first time, this is the first edition of the Weather Show. We've gone live a lot on Saturdays. I like going live on Saturday. I know there's people just hanging out, can join. I want this to be interactive. So come with comments, come with your thoughts, come with questions if you have them on anything, whether it's on topic, off topic. Love to have that conversation. And this is something that we are going to do on this channel every week, every Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Pacific time. And if I have to tweak the time a little bit, if I can't make it on a certain Saturday, I will let you guys know in the community section, also highly active in the community section. So if you do like this kind of stuff, if you do like the weather, please subscribe. Please hit that thumbs up button as well if you want to stay up to date and have these conversations as we move forward. And again, we're going to talk a lot about hurricane season as well. My voice is about shot, guys. Thank you a ton for joining the first ever weather show on this channel. It's going to get better. My voice is going to get better, and we're going to have a lot more stuff that I can show you. But again, I wanted to just get on here, even though I barely have a voice, to show you again that not only do we have another round of severe weather coming today, but we have more severe weather right around the corner Monday, and then especially on Tuesday. That's the big day, but that big time blizzard ramping up in the plains. Thank you a ton. I appreciate that. You stay safe up there. Stay weather aware in Northeast PA. I'll take you back again to the risk area. Let me get back to the day 1 risk area, and then there you go. There's all that heavy rain pushing off the East Coast, and then we'll have another round coming through all this stuff over here where we have some stronger thunderstorms already in and around Detroit. And that's a good thing. We want to keep it gray, windy, and cool today, at least the gray part. The wind is going to crank up big time, but we want the more cloud cover we keep around, the less opportunity we are going to have for severe weather that kind of robs the instability a little bit. So we're rooting for the clouds in a gray day today that will keep the severe threat on the lower side. Still, though, level 2 out of 5, so make sure that you are paying close attention. Thank you so much, guys. If you liked what you saw, and I promise it's going to get better, my voice is going to get better, and I'm not going to be so annoying, please consider subscribing. And we will catch you next time right back here on this channel. This has been the first ever weather show. See you next Saturday at 11 and during the week on my normal videos.